Hey, this summer we took an awesome road trip from Thunder Bay, Ontario to Winnipeg, Manitoba. We'll leave a link in the description if you missed it or need a refresher. When we arrived in Manitoba, we made a few really awesome stops before heading into the city. Welcome to the Peg, and we are more than excited to show you some awesome things to do in Winnipeg. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the little bell to be notified of new videos. Please visit the accompanying blog post for more information and pictures, which you will find in the description. First, we checked into Fort Garry. The Fort Garry Hotel and Spa is an iconic landmark in downtown Winnipeg, blending contemporary style with old world elegance. Nonsuch Brewing Company in Winnipeg's Exchange District crafts delicious high ABV Belgian-style beers. There's a cool vibe in here too. Day 1. One thing I absolutely love about the Peg is their brunch spots, starting with Modern Electric Lunch. This shop serves great coffee and comfort food on Treaty 1 territory. Their new downtown location is known for $5 savory waffles with a delicious smoked Gouda sauce. A 30-minute drive from downtown Winnipeg and we are at FortWhyte Alive. FortWhyte Alive is a great place to see bison and other prairie wildlife. You can explore forest trails, a boardwalk, a museum, an aquarium, and a cafe. Activities like fishing, cycling, hiking, and wildlife watching also exist. But we're here to meet with Barrett Miller, Group and Corporate Programs Manager at FortWhyte Alive.
We are an environmental education and outdoor recreation organization. We're very, very lucky to steward 680 acres, largely of reclaimed farm and industrial land here in southwest Winnipeg.
Wow.
To do tourism and recreation and education programs helping people connect to the natural world.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about some of the programs that you run here.
So we see 36,000 school kids on field trip a year.
Jeez, wow.
I know, that keeps us very busy September to June. We have a forest school. It's a preschool and school age alternative education operation where the kids are outside pretty much the whole time they're here.
Wow.
In all Manitoba weather. FortWhyte Farms is a social enterprise. I love their tagline, growing food, youth, and community.
Ooh, nice.
Food is really good. The youth, we work with youth who find themselves on the margins of things, whether that's due to migration or socioeconomic factors, to help them build some life and entrepreneurial skills and about good food.
Nice.
So that's FortWhyte Farms. We also have a pretty robust eco-tour program too. So that's what we're enjoying a little bit of today, a little bit of a bike ride, some bison. So folks can come and visit. We have forest, prairie, wetland. You can see all of southern Manitoba at the edge of the city in a couple hours. Bison are the 9th largest land animal in the world, the biggest in North or South America, the biggest animal that gets all 4 feet off the ground when they jump. They can run 60-ish kilometers an hour, and they can get to that speed within their own body length. Like their acceleration.
60?
Yeah, oh yeah. If they start chasing you, Chris, you try to get out of sight, out of mind. You don't try to outrun the bison. That's a lot of animal moving very quickly.
And like a freight train.
As food, they've actually fed people from time immemorial. Thousands of years of indigenous peoples of the prairies depended on the bison for food. Dried bison meat mixed with Saskatoon or chokecherry berries and sealed up in bison fat. That was pemmican. That was what the fuel of the fur trade. Yeah. Those voyageurs that were paddling across Lake Superior from Montreal to the west and back and forth, they were eating pemmican from the prairies here. They were eating bison meat.
Wow.
And nowadays, bison actually help us conserve and reclaim grassland. Cows rip their food. Bison clip their food.
Interesting.
Bison act like a mower, encouraging grass to grow back.
It's so incredible.
Prairie grass, for every unit of height you see prairie grass growing tall, and some of the tall grass grows 6 feet tall, the roots go at least as deep.
Wow.
A cow that rips that up does a lot of damage. A bison just grazes that root goes deeper, locking up more carbon, locking up more water, enhancing the prairie.
Wow.
Bison feed themselves.
That's awesome.
So, when the prairies in Western North America are adapted to having bison on them, so when bison are put back where they've been taken away, that biodiversity comes back. Bugs and birds and all sorts of other things come back into a bison paddock. So bison, they're related to cattle. The meat is kind of like a beefier beef, if you will. It's a little bit drier, so you got to watch how you cook it. But done right, there's more iron, less cholesterol, and it's just delicious when you compare it to just about anything else. Bison, there's no such thing as a cage-farmed bison. They are a free-range animal by definition. A bison in a barn is breaking a barn. So, long story short, especially if you're in a part of the world where bison is produced, so the western part of this continent, if you're a meat eater, bison is a very, very healthy, good choice to make. What do you suppose this might be? There's a little flap in there.
I say it'd be to catch something, so...
Maybe a mouse? No.
Maybe a rabbit or some kind of animal to eat?
It is something to eat.
Okay, so something, what, so now it's a matter of what type of animal
it's
would
a
it catch?
water thing.
Oh, for
Oh.
fish.
Crayfish.
Crayfish.
It's a crayfish catcher.
Okay.
And we spent almost 20 years figuring that out.
Okay, so how does it work then?
So it's like a lobster trap.
Right.
Put a little bit of bait in there. They come in, they go through the funnel, they fall through the door. That used to have a spring on there. They'd get in, they couldn't get out, then you just take them out the top, put it back in. This would be, it's a Swedish design, so it came from Scandinavia, because crayfish is huge there.
Yeah.
Came to North America, yeah.
I want to talk about the Saskatoon berries.
Ah, yes.
1 second, because we had those. But let's talk about how you work with the Indigenous communities.
So any community that we work with that is not our own, so be that Indigenous, Métis, even the settler communities, we work with knowledge keepers in those communities to make sure that we are given permission to share accurate facts, accurate stories.
Excellent.
We try to involve folks from the communities in the programming whenever possible. 36,000 school kids, you can't always necessarily find somebody to connect at the right time.
Of course, yeah.
Which is why it's important for us all to understand what we're doing and position that correctly in the history of this place.
Right.
Especially being on reclaimed industrial land and seeing literally the scars that were left and how the natural world has reclaimed that. It inspires us to do the same thing with some of the topics around reconciliation and just telling the stories of the people who have come from overseas and settled here. The story of the Métis, for a long time, that was really looked down on in Manitoba, even though that's one of the most place-specific Manitoba stories ever.
Yeah.
Louis Riel was the founder of the province, and that history was tamped down for so long. So it's very good to learn it and to be able to share it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Oh, I love that. Sounds awesome.
But no, the Saskatoon berry, it's a distant relative of the apple or the pear. Its taste is kind of, for folks who've never had it, is kind of like a blueberry, but there's a certain nuttiness, and the seeds inside have a little woody bite to them, which doesn't necessarily sound super delicious, but it balances the sweet of the berry really nicely. And they're excellent anywhere where people might use conventional blueberries, pies, cakes, the like, and just off the tree, they're quite a treat.
Yeah.
So always something to look forward to this time of year around here.
Yeah, that's fun. And then to connect the two, because you mentioned earlier
Yes.
that they use the berries with the bison.
Yes.
I mean, we even talked about the berries with beer and all that stuff too, which is all possible and I'm sure tastes delicious. But you mentioned that there was a specific dish where they mixed the berries with the bison.
Yeah,
and indigenous
pemmican.
people would do, pemmican. That was it,
Pemmican
yeah.
was an indigenous food storage technology. You
Yeah.
dry the bison meat, you mix in berries, and then you seal it up with bison fat.
Nice.
And what had been winter food storage was turned into the staple food of the fur trade. The Métis people hunt the bison, produce the pemmican to feed the fur trade, a lot of their own relatives who were voyageurs or in the fur trade. And that becomes the major source of fuel, the food that drove that era of the history of this place and right across the continent. The Saskatoons were pretty much the only spice in there, a little bit sweet, and there was just enough fruit mixed in with that high-fat, high-protein diet that voyageurs died of a lot of things. They drowned, they got hernias, They got eaten by grizzly bears, but they didn't get scurvy. And that was from the pemmican. So it really is a good technology. Now, having had modern representations of it, the modern stuff isn't bad. Having had historically accurate pemmican, I'm glad that I get to choose to eat my bison and Saskatoon separately in other ways. But even nowadays, a nice Saskatoon compote on a piece of bison roast, there's a couple places in Winnipeg that do that dish up very, very, very well and nicely. So
Awesome.
it's still a winning combination.
That's amazing. Now, exit question, because I think this could be a lesson for all of us. So, what do the bison do when a storm comes?
So bison seem to be able to read the barometric pressure and the storms coming across the prairies. They don't panic. They just sort of find a place where they can hunker down out of the worst of the hail and where lightning is less likely to strike them. Our bison here, we had heavy storms roll through Sunday night. Sunday afternoon at about 3, they all decided to go to a corner of their paddock where they knew that they could settle down, to the point where the person who was working with the herd that day called and sort of said, like, the sky's still clear, do I have to worry? And I looked at the forecast and said, no, they're looking ahead. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They were looking ahead to 9 o'clock at night. It's like, around about 9 o'clock, the bison are going to be very, very right in their forecast, and they were. So we don't have to panic, but you know, that whole when thunder roars, go indoors. Yeah, think about where you'd go. Don't have to panic. Just maybe get somewhere safe.
Start making some moves.
Start making that plan, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Barrett.
Thank you very much, Chris. It was great to meet you.
Awesome.
Before we leave, we grab lunch at the Buffalo Stone Cafe, FortWhyte Alive's in-house cafe. Here you can grab delicious home-style soups, grilled sandwiches, and their signature bison burger, while admiring beautiful views of the lake floors and wetlands. From here, we head to Winnipeg's West End. Via its mural walking tour, we learn all about the area.
It was formerly called Enzo's, and it was often where immigrants would go first thing after arriving in Winnipeg. And it's also become an Italian community hangout in the city as well.
The informative West End Biz Mural Tour will teach you all about the local heroes, urban history, and its diverse cultures.
So he tried unsuccessfully in the early 1800s to propose the development of Portage Place Mall. A man and a woman lying on the ground sleeping. This got revealed without the bike, but the community really wanted to see it.
After all that walking, we've definitely worked up an appetite, and located here in the West End is Gladys Caribbean Kitchen.
Patrice, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. We just ate and I'm full. I don't even know if I can function right now, but I'm gonna do my best.
All right.
So what was the inspiration of this restaurant?
My grandmother. That's why I call it Gladys.
I had a feeling.
Yes, my grandmother's third generation entrepreneur. My grandmother had a restaurant in Jamaica. And as a little girl, I was very, very fascinated by it. And we spent a lot of time together. My grandmother was my best friend. She passed many years ago, but growing up, she always reminded me how important it is to do what you want to do in your heart. And so, though my family wanted me to study medicine, I opted to follow my heart and to follow my passion. And my grandmother would always say, if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper there is. And so I kind of perfected my art by going to training school. I went to Culinary Institute of America, and I did my degree back in Jamaica, University of Technology in Culinary Arts. So her influence influenced this restaurant.
Beautiful. I love that story. I have goosebumps. But you know what? You're making people feel better every day.
Yes.
So you, in a way, you are doing medicine.
I am.
You are.
I
'Cause
am.
you're making people feel
Emotional,
good.
spiritual medicine.
Absolutely. Totally.
I am.
Wow, that's so incredible. All right, so then why Winnipeg? Why not like Toronto? I mean, because I'm from Toronto. But why not? Like, why Winnipeg?
You know what? I actually got a job here many years ago.
Right. Okay.
And this is where I came. I have no family really in Canada. I may have one cousin, but that's about it. And I got a job here. I came here as a temporary foreign worker to work at McDonald's, actually. I went to a small town called Selkirk, just like 40 minutes north of Winnipeg. And I spent 2 years there, and I moved to the city because my husband came, and there were just more job opportunities here in Winnipeg for his field. And unfortunately, after that, I really couldn't find a job because, I was told I didn't study in Canada, but I have up to a master's degree from back home. But, it is what it is. But it forced me to stretch myself with this operation. So I had no choice. My back was against the wall. I was almost, struggling with depression. Like, I'm here. I know what I can do. I'm qualified. I need to do something that makes me happy every day. And this started out in my basement, conceptualized an idea. I just started writing a menu. That's all. That's how it started. I just started writing a menu, and then everything started rolling over. And here we are 2 years later.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And, I don't know what it is, but I hate it when the country doesn't recognize other people's diplomas, but that's such a regular thing.
Yeah.
And so, this is fantastic. I love the underdog story.
Yes.
How does the community support you, and how do you support the community here in the West End?
I get a lot of support. I get a lot of support from the community. And I always have to go back to the things that my grandmother would always say to me. My grandmother always told me that you never get poor from giving. No one has ever gotten poor from giving.
I love that.
And so we are big. We are a Christian company. We are big on humanitarianism. So there are lots of functions where we just donate the food, to offset the cost, especially Black-owned functions or Black-led functions. We would donate the food just to offset the cost, because I understand what it feels like to want to start something with nothing. So we support even individuals who are in like sport tournaments in terms of funding. We donate to that. We donate to our church community. So we give back. We are big on that. I hold no bars when it comes to that. And nothing has ever stopped us. Nothing, we have no lack. But we do believe in giving back.
Awesome. Hey, when we told our tour guide that we're coming here for dinner, she said, that food is amazing. So so you've already, the people, they don't know who you are. So they speak very highly of the food, and I can attest it is phenomenal. All right, so let's talk about your dishes. So what goes into making them, preparing them, that kind of thing, like, in terms of sourcing it, all that kind of stuff, ingredients.
All right. First, we look for local producers. So our meats are locally sourced. We get all our meats from local butchers and small farmers and so forth. We are big on even getting our spices from Jamaica. Like we do get some of our curry is from Jamaica. We import that.
Beautiful.
Many of the things that we have here, we bring it in because we do have, people coming in and out. So, or when I do go to Jamaica, I will have a suitcase where I bring, we're Jamaicans. That's what we do.
That's a Caribbean thing.
It's a Caribbean thing, yeah.
Because my grandma would do the same thing
yeah,
when she was alive.
I'll bring like 10, 20 pounds of curry powder at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we use that. The underline though is doing it from a place of love.
Yeah.
Because you can get the best locally produced stuff. But if you're not doing it from a place of love and passion and really wanting that person on the other end to enjoy it, then it still won't come off as phenomenal as you just experienced.
Agreed.
So while we operate with integrity, we cut no corners, we're a scratch restaurant, we make even our gravy from scratch.
Love it.
Yeah, so we do that, and we do that because we believe in doing things well. I really do believe in doing things. I serve a God who is a God of excellence, so I do operate in excellence. So I do it well.
Love it. You're an inspiration. in the short time of speaking with you, like I got so many gems from that I'm just like I'm full now, like spiritually, physically, like I'm good. But honestly, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, your food is fantastic. I can't wait to tell everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in.
Amazing.
That you came.
Oh, no worries.
Times Change High and Lonesome Club's summer pop-up spot on Main Street serves local beer and hosts live music. It's the perfect place to end the day.
We've been wasting time patiently lives, tiptoeing and speaking quiet, never let them know. While the fine lines fill our face from love.
Day 2, we head back to the Exchange District to walk around, and we discovered yet another spectacular lunch spot. In fact, Clementine is Winnipeg's top brunch spot. The restaurant has an elegant decor and serves creative twists on classic brunch fare.
After a concert, we were at a... I believe you, I don't remember. No, you did not. Don't worry. To be fair, I've done this once now. Tell me that once.
The Canadian Museum for Human Rights is the world's only museum dedicated to raising human rights awareness. It offers an incredible visitor experience that combines interactive engagement with its symbolic architecture and well-researched content, utilizing cutting-edge technology, storytelling techniques, and art. This place is undoubtedly one of the most emotional exhibits I have ever experienced. So take your time, and I strongly suggest checking in with yourself every now and then because it's some heavy, heavy stuff. The way human beings can treat other human beings, wow. Oh boy, lunchtime. The Forks in Manitoba is a popular tourist destination with a 6,000-year history. The market offers shopping, dining, craft beer, and wine kiosks. After lunch, we joined Parks Canada to tour the historic Forks area. The Where Our Stories Meet tour is how you learn about the First Nations, European explorers, and the Red River Métis who shaped the land that would become Manitoba. You'll also learn about Louis Riel, a Canadian politician, founder of the province of Manitoba, and the leader of the Métis people. Okay, for dinner, we head back to the West End for Feast Cafe Bistro. Feast is a First Nation restaurant here in the West End. The menu comprises indigenous dishes made with local ingredients. The chef and owner of the restaurant, Krista Brunel Gwenther, has recently appeared on TV shows as a judge. The bison, by the way, absolutely delicious. Day 3. One more delicious brunch spot. Man, I can't get enough of these places. Juneberry is the new lunch spot in Old St. Vital, Winnipeg. It has a stylish and cozy atmosphere and offers a diverse menu with popular options like Eggs Benedict and great vegetarian choices. I still have dreams about these pancakes. The next stop is the museum. The Manitoba Museum is an award-winning heritage and science center exploring the past, present, and future of the province. It also includes a planetarium and a science gallery. But the gem has got to be the replica of the original Nonsuch ship that the Hudson Bay Company commissioned. She was crafted using the same tools and materials familiar with the 17th century. She sailed up and down the Atlantic and Pacific coast and through the Great Lakes. In 1973, she was placed on permanent display in the Nonsuch Gallery here at the museum. Next up, the Winnipeg Art Gallery, away. It's the leading Canadian art museum with a vast collection of contemporary art, photography, and Inuit art. It features exhibitions from local, national, and international artists, education programs, a gallery shop, and a rooftop sculpture garden. Okay, lunchtime. Hargrave Street Market is Winnipeg's latest food destination. The market features top chefs, fresh ingredients, and innovative new menus from local favorites all in one place. Okay, last stop before we jump on our plane back to Toronto and conveniently located near the airport is the Royal Aviation Museum of Western Canada at Winnipeg Richardson International Airport, which explores the history and innovation of aviation. The museum has a new building and displays over 20 aircraft in 17 exhibits. And that's it. Thank you for hanging out with us here in Winnipeg. The Peg is a very cool city. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the little bell to be notified of new videos. In the description, you'll find the link to our detailed blog post about things to do in Winnipeg on the Road Trip Ontario website. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.